Russia, a land of immense contrasts and profound history. A name that evokes images of vast, snowy plains, majestic palaces, and fierce revolutionaries. It's a country where the past and present collide in a dramatic dance of power and culture. Few nations have a history as dramatic and tumultuous as Russia's. Its story is filled with epic battles, grandiose ambitions, and a relentless quest for identity and power. From its humble beginnings as a collection of Slavic tribes to its emergence as a global superpower, Russia's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. Russia's story is one of constant change, struggle, and resilience. Through invasions, revolutions, and wars, the spirit of the Russian people has remained unbroken. Its history has been shaped by powerful rulers, each leaving an indelible mark on the nation's destiny. From Ivan the Terrible, whose reign was marked by terror and transformation, to Joseph Stalin, whose iron grip reshaped the Soviet Union, these figures have defined eras, such as the Mongol invasion which left a lasting impact on Russian culture and society, the Russian Revolution that overthrew centuries of monarchy, and the Cold War that positioned Russia as a superpower on the global stage. Russia's geographical location straddling Europe and Asia has given it a unique identity. This vast expanse has been both a blessing and a curse, offering immense resources and posing significant challenges. It has been influenced by both East and West, creating a rich tapestry of cultural and intellectual exchange. Blending Slavic traditions with Byzantine Christianity and European Enlightenment ideas, Russia has forged a unique path. This fusion of cultures has created a rich and distinctive civilization, one that continues to captivate and intrigue the world. Understanding Russia's past is crucial for comprehending its present and future. The echoes of history resonate in its modern-day politics, culture, and society. This essay will journey through the key periods of Russian history, from the early days of the Kievan Rus to the modern Russian Federation. Exploring the events and figures that have shaped this fascinating nation, we will uncover the layers of its complex and multifaceted identity. From the rise and fall of empires to the struggles of its people, Russia's history is a testament to the resilience and endurance of the human spirit. Russia's story is a testament to the enduring human spirit. It is a saga of survival, adaptation, and transformation, reflecting the indomitable will of its people. The story of Russia begins with the East Slavs, a group of people who migrated across Eastern Europe in the first millennium AD. These early settlers were part of a larger Slavic migration that saw various Slavic tribes spread across the continent, from the Balkans to the Baltic Sea. The East Slavs, in particular, moved into the vast territories that would later become the heartland of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. They settled in the vast plains and forests of what is now European Russia, establishing small communities along rivers and trade routes. These rivers, such as the Dnieper, the Don, and the Volga, were crucial for transportation, trade, and communication, linking the scattered settlements and fostering a sense of shared identity among the East Slavs. These early Slavs were primarily farmers, hunters, and traders, living in close-knit communities governed by local chieftains. Their agricultural practices were well adapted to the diverse landscapes they inhabited, from the fertile river valleys to the dense forests. They cultivated crops such as barley, rye, and wheat, and raised livestock including cattle, pigs, and sheep. Hunting and fishing supplemented their diet, while trade with neighboring tribes and distant lands brought in goods and ideas. In the 9th century, a group of Viking traders known as the Varangians arrived in the East Slavic lands. These Norsemen, hailing from what is now Sweden, were not only fierce warriors but also shrewd merchants. They navigated the river systems of Eastern Europe, establishing trade routes that connected the Baltic Sea with the Black Sea and the Byzantine Empire. Led by a chieftain named Rurik, they established control over the important trade route linking Scandinavia to Byzantium. Rurik and his followers settled in the town of Novgorod, laying the foundations for what would become a powerful state. The Varangians' influence extended beyond trade. They also played a crucial role in the political and military affairs of the region. Rurik's successors expanded their rule, uniting the Slavic tribes under the banner of the Kievan Rus, named after their capital city, Kiev. This unification was not achieved overnight. It involved a series of military campaigns, alliances, and negotiations. The Kievan Rus emerged as a federation of Slavic tribes, each with its own local leaders but united under the authority of the Grand Prince in Kiev. The Kievan Rus flourished as a center of trade and culture. Its strategic location at the crossroads of major trade routes allowed it to become a hub for commerce, attracting merchants from Byzantium, the Islamic world, and Western Europe. The wealth generated from trade supported the growth of cities, the construction of impressive buildings, and the patronage of the arts. Its rulers converted to Orthodox Christianity, adopting the Byzantine legal system and architectural styles. This conversion was a pivotal moment in the history of the Kievan Rus, as it brought the state into the cultural and religious orbit of Byzantium. The adoption of Byzantine law helped to centralize and strengthen the authority of the Grand Prince, while Byzantine art and architecture left a lasting legacy on the cultural landscape of the region. The magnificent churches of Kiev, adorned with intricate mosaics and frescoes, became symbols of the new faith and the growing power of the Rus. These churches were not only places of worship, but also centers of learning and culture. They housed libraries, schools, and scriptoria where religious texts were copied and illuminated. The artistic achievements of this period reflected the synthesis of Slavic and Byzantine traditions. The reign of Prince Vladimir the Great marked the height of Kievan Rus. Vladimir's rule was characterized by military conquests, diplomatic alliances, and internal reforms that strengthened the state. He expanded the territory of the Kievan Rus, securing its borders and consolidating its power. Vladimir embraced Orthodox Christianity and sought to spread it throughout his realm. He invited Byzantine clergy to Kiev, established ecclesiastical institutions, and promoted the construction of churches and monasteries. His efforts to Christianize the Kievan Rus were part of a broader strategy to unify his diverse subjects under a single faith and to align his state with the powerful Byzantine Empire. He commissioned the construction of churches and monasteries, and his reign saw the flourishing of Byzantine art and culture in Russia. The influence of Byzantine culture was evident in the architecture, religious practices, and artistic expressions of the Kievan Rus. Monasteries became centers of learning and cultural preservation, playing a crucial role in the transmission of Byzantine knowledge and traditions. Under Vladimir and his successors, Kievan Rus emerged as a powerful force in Eastern Europe, rivaling the Byzantine Empire in its influence and prestige. The Kievan Rus maintained diplomatic and trade relations with neighboring states, and its cultural and political influence extended far beyond its borders. The legacy of the Kievan Rus would shape the future of Eastern Europe for centuries to come. However, internal divisions and external threats would soon challenge the unity of the Rus. The Kievan Rus faced invasions from nomadic tribes, internal power struggles among the ruling elite, and the eventual fragmentation of the state into smaller principalities. These challenges marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the region, as the once unified Kievan Rus gave way to a more fragmented and diverse political landscape. The 13th century brought a new and formidable force to the steppes of Eurasia, the Mongols. Emerging from the rugged terrains of Mongolia, these fierce warriors were united under a single banner, driven by an insatiable desire for conquest and expansion. Led by the legendary Genghis Khan and his successors, the Mongol armies swept across Asia, conquering vast territories and establishing a vast empire. Their military prowess was unmatched, and their strategies were both innovative and ruthless. In 1240, the Mongols, under the command of Batu Khan, turned their attention to the Russian principalities. Batu Khan, a grandson of Genghis Khan, was determined to extend Mongol dominance into the heart of Eastern Europe. The Mongol invasion was a cataclysmic event that had a profound and lasting impact on Russian history. The Russian principalities, fragmented and often at odds with each other, were ill-prepared to face such a formidable foe. The Mongols, with their superior military tactics and organization, easily defeated the divided Russian princes. Their use of psychological warfare, swift cavalry movements, and coordinated attacks left the Russian forces in disarray. Kiev, the once proud capital of the Rus, was sacked and burned. The city, which had been a center of culture and trade, was reduced to ashes, marking the end of an era. The Mongol conquest brought an abrupt end to the Kievan Rus, plunging the Russian lands into a period of subjugation and fragmentation. The once unified state was now a collection of vassal principalities, each struggling to survive under Mongol rule. For over 2 centuries, the Russian principalities endured what came to be known as the Mongol Yoke. This period was marked by heavy tributes, military conscriptions, and a constant reminder of Mongol supremacy. They were forced to pay tribute to the Mongol Khans and provide troops for their armies. The burden of these tributes weighed heavily on the Russian people, stifling economic growth and fostering resentment. The Mongol rule, though harsh, had a significant impact on the political and social development of Russia. The Mongols introduced administrative practices that would later influence Russian governance, including the concept of centralized authority. It isolated Russia from Western Europe, hindering its economic and cultural progress. While Western Europe experienced the Renaissance and significant advancements, Russia remained cut off, its development stunted by the Mongol presence. However, amidst the turmoil and oppression, a new power began to rise in the northeast, the Principality of Moscow. This small but ambitious state saw an opportunity to assert its dominance and began to lay the foundations for a future empire. The Muscovite princes, through cunning diplomacy and shrewd alliances, gradually expanded their influence under the Mongol overlords. They adeptly navigated the complex political landscape, forging alliances with other principalities and even the Mongols themselves. They collected tribute on behalf of the Mongols and ruthlessly subdued their rivals. This dual role as both vassals and enforcers allowed them to consolidate power and resources, setting the stage for Moscow's eventual rise. By the late 15th century, Moscow had emerged as the dominant power in the Russian lands, challenging the authority of the Golden Horde, the Mongol Khanate that ruled over Russia. The Muscovite princes had transformed their principality into a formidable state. In 1480, Ivan III, the Grand Prince of Moscow, finally broke free from Mongol domination, refusing to pay further tribute and declaring Moscow the Third Rome, the heir to the legacy of the Roman and Byzantine empires. This bold declaration marked the beginning of a new era for Russia. The stage was set for the emergence of a powerful and centralized Russian state. The foundations laid during the Mongol Yoke would shape the future of Russia, leading to the rise of a nation that would play a pivotal role in world history.